what is body positivity to you personally? What's your definition of it?
To me, it's about like appreciating yourself, and like the whole body positivity movement is a kind of guess about having like a choice of the images that you get to view. Give you more of a choice of what images you're like feeding yourself, and like being able to represent all bodies and all like everything about you and all of your flaws is like I think a big part of it, because it's not just about being like, oh, because within the modelling community it's very like either you're one size or another, and there's no kind of space in between, and I think body positivity is challenging that in a way that it's not just one shape.
Was there a pivotal moment for you where you were like, you know what, I'm going to make my account on body positivity? I'm not, being empowering that way.
I think I just kind of got to the end of my tether. I was living in London and having not the best time in the world. I was like having panic attacks every day, like looking in the mirror, and like didn't leave my house for like 3 months. I found it really difficult to get to work, and obviously work being image-based is like a little challenging. And I just I actually started doing a barbering course, which I no longer do, but very well. But it kind of like gave me space from the industry enough to like appreciate myself and have like a turning point where I wasn't stuck in like a little kind of cycle almost of being like, I feel great about myself, and then having a job and standing next to loads of like 6-foot women who are like seen as very conventionally attractive, and like the pressure of being surrounded by all people who look the same.
Yeah.
And I think I just had one day and I was like, I'm gonna post this and then not look at my phone for like the next 72 hours because it's terrifying. And I got like a really, really good response.
So with social media side of it, do you think it's positively or negatively affected feminism? Like, yeah, it's a thing of social media is such a like a portal in it where it's you're the best version of yourself.
It's almost like a fake life.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to be always like that. It's like I'm not going out for fancy brunches every day. Although I do.
We did have really good lunch.
So I'm like hugely an advocate of social media. I really love it, and I think you do just learn more. Like whether you get hate or not, I think it opens your mind a bit more, and it gives you more chance to kind of reflect on your own opinions.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, maybe I wasn't right. And I've just got to apologise for that, and like I'm sorry.
Yeah, completely.
Rather than only hearing what you want to hear or what the people around you think.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, how would you? I don't think I would know as much about feminism or be as interested if we didn't have social media, because it's so easy and it's so accessible.
With body positivity for men, do you feel like there is enough or at all?
There's not much out there for men, and I think, you know, almost every boy that I've been like close to has struggled with their like appearance, and like especially like very laddie boys really struggle with it, and you kind of obviously they have to have a bravado and have to be like, oh, I'm a big man, like obviously I don't care about my opinion. Like,
short hair, they have feelings.
Weird that one. But I really think that there should be more, but it's very hard to encourage.
Is there a big difference between like modelling for women and modelling for men? I don't know, when you're working, do you feel that difference?
Male modelling, there's less plus size as well. Like plus size isn't a thing for men, really.
That's so true.
Although ASOS recently have started doing plus size male models, which is amazing. But it's taken a while, like in comparison to the female side of things.
It's because I want it to change, but it's like, okay, well, men need to start dealing with like, I don't know, start talking about how they feel more, and then like I feel like something will click, and then suddenly we'll have that change maybe. But you know, next Instagram post you need to do one on male positivity maybe. Do you have any advice for people who feel like they don't fit the ideal mainstream of beauty?
I don't like discussion because I'm like, it's different for everyone, and it's like things that worked for me might not work for other people. But I guess also one thing that did really help was following a variety of people on Instagram and who are like body positivity based. I unfollowed like all of the skinny fitness models that I used to follow, everyone who was like going to the gym every day and like eating only vegetables. because it just wasn't healthy for me. So much. And then kind of like introducing different figures and different people and appreciating the fact that they like are also putting themselves out there even though they might not want to was like really inspiring for me. To see other people be like, I'm not comfortable but also here you go, and it kind of like takes away the fear of like caring, I guess. Like something that helped for me was kind of acknowledging like other points in yourself which you really value, so whether that's like personality based or like, you know, activities that you're good at or things like that. I think that really helped, and like recognizing it in other people. So instead of giving somebody a compliment on the way that they look, you give them a compliment about their personality, like, oh, that's like you're really good at asking questions, or like, oh, like you're so thoughtful, and then that, because that makes you think less about comparing yourself to other people, if that makes sense.
Or you realise the worth in other things that you have, not just your body. I think we should get people to ask some questions now, if you guys are up for it.
So even if nobody tells you to change the way you look, you kind of naturally realise that all of the people around you look the same, which is, I remember my first casting was ASOS, and I turned up in like massive flared trousers and a big leather jacket, and I was like the shortest one there and like a bit bigger than the other girls, and they were all like really tall and blonde and wearing all the same thing, and I was like, oh, fuck this one, didn't I? And it was kind of like subconsciously being like, oh, like maybe if I do this I won't, you know, I'll get more jobs, and then I think it just got to a point of like, I can't keep this up, and if I lose my job for it then that's okay, and I'd rather be happy within myself than make the money, if that makes sense. There's I think it's like a charity or something in America that is called like the Model Alliance, and I only found them the other day, and they're doing a lot of stuff to kind of like give models more rights, and I think that would be really beneficial if there was something in the UK which like helps, especially because a lot of it's young people who are being told by older people, so there's like a position of power, like what's right and what's wrong, and I think it would be really useful for somebody to create something that kind of is almost like a union for models, because they don't have because you're like a dime a dozen, you don't have that many rights, and I'm quite lucky in the fact that people weren't just like, oh, fuck off, do you know what I mean? I mean, I think she wouldn't believe a fucking word that I had to say, mainly. I think to just be not question the choices that you're making, and I want to tell her that like whatever happens, it's gonna be all right, whether you follow the chosen path or not. It's very much like, if it doesn't work out, that's okay, and that's all part of it, and if nothing good comes from it, you'll learn from it. And also like, stop starving yourself, please. Just like, don't let other people like tell you negative things about yourself, whether that's like consciously or not, whether they're actively trying to be horrible or whether it's like a little bit, and also just like, don't get caught up in the trends of other people. Just because other people are doing it doesn't mean that it's necessarily right or right for you, if that makes sense. And stick to your guns, I guess, is what I tell her in a short sentence. I think that a lot of the stuff that I work on is quite like commercial stuff, so I'm surrounded by a lot more people who are more open to it, and especially because of the social media side of things, I'm now being booked for social media, the fact that I have like a following, so I think it's a lot easier to come into contact with people who have similar like-minded views. I definitely, I think I've learned to cope with it better, and I think therapy really worked for me in the way that I can kind of think through things a bit more. And obviously there are still those days where I have massive panic attacks and like refuse to leave the house, but they're not as frequent because I can kind of think through it a bit more, and giving yourself time to reflect on times that you maybe weren't feeling so good, or things. Just giving yourself time to think about yourself is sometimes so important, and I think people don't do that enough. When I moved to London, that's when everything got really bad, and that's when I said to my book, I was like, I need to take 2 months off work and never leave the house again. And because everyone, this is just personally about London, for me it feels like super cold and there's not much community feel, and I think that's really important to me, to have kind of like a network of people, and to have not somebody living on the other side of the city, which is like 2 hours away, and I've got to get 7 buses on the way home. Yeah, I think, and especially the house I was living in had no windows other than my bedroom, which was a really odd situation, and kind of, I guess, almost getting caught up a little bit in the rat race, and in the kind of like everyone in the circles that I was running in, it felt like everything had to be on to the next thing, and had to be very like, oh, so like, who do you know, like, what are you doing, like everything was very trying to one-up each other, and maybe that was just the circles I was running in, because I do love London, like, it's great, but for me it wasn't healthy at the time. I think that's like the more I learn, it's such an important thing for me to be like, I guess, quite moral, and I would never ever want to offend someone or hurt anyone in any way. And I think that, I guess that's kind of part of my character. I would never want to upset anyone. But so it's kind of more like I have to, the larger following means I have to think maybe more about my actions, which is definitely a good thing. It's definitely like, I think I put more emphasis on the fact that I should learn more, and that I should educate myself more, so that I don't end up ever hurting someone, if that makes sense.